Welcome, everyone. I'm Sharri Harmel, and today you'll come with me to several little towns in the area surrounding Avignon, France, which is in the Provence area of France. It was a gardening, antiquing, brocanting tour with Sharon Santoni of My French Country Home, which I cannot recommend enough. It was a fabulous tour, so I hope you all enjoy.
We have arrived. The most beautiful hotel. Honestly, it's a chateau that has been converted, and it is called, let me see if I can find the name, and then actually say the name is a whole nother question. I am where? Domaine de Charlemont. We are just outside of Avignon, in the Provence area of France, and it is exquisite. I saw this chateau when it was being renovated and being turned into a hotel. This is I think it's called the Fortin group. Which is incredible. I will turn the camera around so that you can get an idea of what I'm seeing here. So walking in, I have a beautiful suite. Oh my gosh. We've got a little area with waters. Yes, the Fontenelle group, just so that you see. Don't you love that? Madame Harmel. And of course, over here we have a little coffee maker, an espresso. But I think I'm going to show you here first, and then I'm going to show you the views because it is fantastic. But you can see how there is really a juxtaposition of the old and the new here, which is quite fabulous. And let me explain. Here's the bathroom. I don't know how to turn the lights on. Here we go. Oh my. I think I saw this particular room when it was in the process of being built. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? And this is a little view out the front. Oh, look at that. Unbelievable. Now there's a bathtub. I think I might have to visit that bathtub. They kept all the old locks, obviously, or put in something that looks relatively similar. But let me show you more of the views. Oh, there's the swimming pool way over. You can see it. These are, oh gosh, I'm going to forget the name of the trees. I think they look like people. Plantaire trees? I think that's right. Just learned today there's a mushroom that is actually infecting so many of these gorgeous trees, and France is losing them. So I have a little desk. Yes, here's the name, Domaine de Charlemont. Gives you an idea. More views. You can see the hills and the mountains out in the distance. And I have a whole nother view. I have two sides of windows. Look at the gardens. And it's very sunny, so I'm hoping that you're getting a reflection. But it gives you an idea. I'll show you more later in the week when the sun is not shining in this window. So anyways, had to share the room because this is an exquisite tour. I mentioned it in the airport, but I just want you to see Provence tour through the My French Country Home group. And with this particular one, My French Country Home is run by Sharon Santoni, and on this particular tour, which I did a year ago, is also with Sandra Sigmund, who owns Le Fleur in Andover, Massachusetts, and unbelievable florist, antique dealer, I guess you would say, as well as Lucy Hunter. Lucy is a Brit, and she designs gardens and takes all kinds of photographs of flowers. She's incredible. So, but I just learned today she's been designing gardens for a number of people. You see these, I have to show you because I thought it was so fascinating. I can see these throughout the building. You have wallpaper, and then in the middle of this old wallpaper is a beautiful watercolor. Absolutely gorgeous. So anyways, let's talk lamps. Come with me to Chateau Charlemagne. It's part of the Fontenelle group here in France. I am at the Chateau, their hotel, Chateau, in just outside of Avignon, which is a beautiful little city to visit, truly. But look at these gardens. It's just incredible. I am at a flower workshop, and I will show you a little bit. There's a swimming pool back here, which is absolutely gorgeous, and I just heard it is heated to 28 degrees Celsius, so that is warm. This is the workshop that is happening. This is the front of the chateau. My room is actually up there. How fantastic. I get light from both sides. These trees are the trees, as you can see right down the avenue. I just heard, if this is true, I don't know, I'm going to investigate. They're plane trees, and Napoleon planted them because it allowed his army to march in a row down avenues. So isn't that something? It's just amazing. I don't know if anywhere in America has plane trees. Very interesting. Workshop. We are doing a workshop on flowers. And here are the plane trees that are struggling a little bit. You can see everyone has beautiful arrangements. Isn't it gorgeous?
Be Googling what type of water you should be using. But I think changing the water does increase the longevity of your flowers.
On Instagram, on my Instagram, which obviously rules my life, this week popped up a lady, she might have been a professional florist, I don't know, who did a little experiment in her kitchen. She had 5 vases, little sort of small vases, into which she put identical flowers, and in one vase she put water and an aspirin, in another vase she put water and sugar, I think, in another vase she put water and a coin, and there was a 4th one, and the 5th one she put water and Sprite and bleach. And then she said, okay, after 3 days, this one, the sugar one, is just like, can be thrown away. And the 2 that did the best were the coin.
Yeah.
And the one that really did the best was the Sprite and the bleach.
Yeah.
The next video is actually when I take you to a candle making factory, La Congerie des Prémontres. I'm saying, I'm sure that totally incorrectly, but they have been candle makers, master candle makers since 1858. They made primarily religious candles for a very long time for the Abbey of des Prémontres. So they have all these wax figures that they make of the Blessed Virgin and the Heart of Light, etc., etc. But they have this incredible candle making way that has given them the, I think it's called the Entreprise de Patrimoine Vivant, EPV, which is like a living history of a particular product or a craft or a company within France. It's a category that is given by the state of France. And you will actually see the candle maker pour the wax down the wick, which is beautiful. You know, you see this big, huge vat of wax below the candles, and you don't think it's anything because it's all liquid. And you'll see him pour it down the wick of the candles, which is actually how he makes the candles, which is the ancestral way. So I think you will enjoy it. Later on, you will actually see it appears that he's cutting something, like he's cutting wood or shaping wood. It's actually candles. And he is turning the wax candles into things in a whole different section of the building, which I could not film. This was something that hardly ever do they allow anyone to come into their building. And so consequently, I was very careful as to what I was filming. You see where they actually have the molds of all the different religious characters, religious symbols, whatnot, candles, which is quite amazing. So anyways, enjoy.
So 2 to 10.
Their gauges are right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, exactly. But we are very proud of this technique because it's really it's really artisanal. It's
Only handmade.
exactly.
Incredible. Wow. Incredible. And the only one.
Next, you will see a place that has been a gentleman's love project. It looks in many ways like a heap of stones, but it was all once this beautiful ancestral home, and he is restoring it, which, obviously is a lifelong project. It's really quite amazing. After that, you will see a home that a couple restored into rental spaces. I couldn't do very many videos at all, mostly outside. But inside this home was just fascinating because it was exactly what I see so often in France. And certainly this was reflective of Provence, where it's clean plaster, thick plaster walls, which keeps the heat out. And then all of the beautiful antique furniture, beautiful lighting, that sort of thing inside. But what I took you to, because I wanted you to see it, I could show you a little bit of one of the houses that they've renovated on the project, on the property that you can actually rent. And they can turn it into a family home, which is actually kind of fun. Beautiful swimming pool that they restored. But also there is this site because they're in a valley. And so you can see this site where it's going up the hill or up the mountain on the very far end of the valley. And you can see all the terraced homes and the terraced yards as you look across the valley. So enjoy it. It's a little bit of a fantasy, I have to say. It's just beautiful. This truly does bring a whole new world to renovation. This gentleman is an 18th century expert, an expert on 18th century fabrics. And he moved from the country to this particular location, which at one time was a palace, and he is turning it back into a single family home. Oh my goodness. And then in here is his atelier, I guess you would say, or his shop, with all of his fabrics. Check out the floor. Absolutely beautiful. It's a little vest. I call it a little vest. Absolutely incredible. This is the view from the back of Fortin. I will zoom so you can see better. Look at that.
We plunge over.
So if you go up into the village of Minna, there is a little restaurant.
There'd be another bed for their children.
Ah.
So they made that sort of a day bed, but otherwise the main bedroom and bathroom, you can go upstairs. Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful. This is beautiful.
Next, you'll just see me sharing a few little shops and little towns along the way. But there's this one shop that I take you into, and it's this shop that is opened by a woman who does absolutely amazing things with tissue, like netting and tissues and whatnot. And you will see who she calls the Marquise, which looks like a sculpture that is actually in a glass dome. It is tissue. You will not believe it. You might want to stop the video and actually see her, because she is that beautiful and that amazing.
And she loves the texture and the way that it sort of floats, but it's actually it can be a shape as well, and the color, and it just made me think of jellyfish. So then I just started making jellyfish, and that's a new something. Good.
And just listen to the nothing. The bird song.
Well, I hope you enjoyed a little view into Provence. There is certainly more to come. And I want to thank you for joining me today. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. That helps all of this grow. And also, if you're interested in the book, do not forget to sign up for the VIP waitlist. The link is below, and you'll get all kinds of goodies. My book is coming out sometime towards the end of this year, possibly October, November. And the book is all about how to design, create, and live your fabulous next chapter. So do sign up. Love to see your name. And the last video is kind of a dorky video, but it is me cooking a caprese salad. It's a summer version of the caprese salad because it has a added ingredient that you can only get in the summer. I am in a rental for that particular video, so please excuse the lack of appropriate camera and a beautiful kitchen or anything. I am in a rental. So anyways, but the salad is good regardless of where it's made. So enjoy. Take care, everyone. A biento.
Hi everyone. Well, you might be wondering, what in the world is Sharri doing? Sort of like, where in the world is Waldo, if you all remember that crazy old game, or books, I should say. I'm in a rental, and so consequently, I don't have my normal kitchen, I don't have my normal tools, but this is the kind of recipe or salad that you can bring to just about anything. And the reason, I should back up, the reason I'm wired here is because my microphone is somewhere that I cannot find. So I'm using my iPhone microphone. So anyways, back to the recipe. This is something that you can gather at a farmer's market. You know, if you in fact are traveling and bring this to a gathering, this could be the main course to some extent. You could also serve it, you know, with some grilled chicken, some grilled shrimp, whatever it might be. It's absolutely delicious. I have made it so many times, I can hardly count them because it's so wonderful. And every time I bring it to an event or a gathering, people love it. It is a spin-off of the caprese salad, which is actually Italian, but if you know Provence, there is a very strong Italian influence in the foods of Provence because of the climate, the vegetables, the climate, all of that. So anyways, I'm going to show you a little bit. Some of it I have done ahead of time, and here I have my Patricia Wells apron on, just so you all know. So the typical caprese salad, as many of you know, is tomatoes, all different kinds of tomatoes, and you can have little, actually big tomatoes. I bought heirloom tomatoes at the local grocery store, but you could go to the farmer's market and find all different kinds of tomatoes. Also cherry tomatoes. You can do with a combination of cherry tomatoes and the larger sliced ones. But as you know, the caprese is basically tomatoes, you know, all different kinds, and I'll cut some up here. I have cut some up, but I wanted to show you just how pretty this could be, and I think I'm going to add to it a little bit. You cannot overdo this. You can't overdo any of the ingredients if you want to know the truth. I've done it all kinds of things, all kinds of ways with all kinds of different tomatoes. How you slice your tomatoes, really, I don't have a tomato knife, I'm so sorry, but how you slice your tomatoes depends upon, you know, what you want it to look like on the plate. So here I will just put a few of these various tomatoes, give you a sense of what it all looks like. And so here are our tomatoes. Then the secret ingredient, which is what makes it so incredibly summer, is peaches. Peaches, peaches, peaches. The more ripe the peaches are, the better the salad, if you want to call it a caprese spin. You can lay the tomatoes however, or excuse me, the peaches however you want to. I've made this in the winter, not the winter, but in the early spring in Boston, because as you know, in America, we ship vegetables from all over the world into America. Ladies and gentlemen, it was not good. And the reason it wasn't good was because the peaches were not sweet. This was the biggest peach I've ever seen. I think it's called a Lulu peach, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to cut up the whole thing because it's just so wonderful. You can do it really pretty in little thin slices. In my case, I like people to be able to have bites of things and not have to slice, so to speak. And so I tend to cut the peaches, but you don't have to. Next, basil. So we've got the caprese, aspects of the caprese going on here. I tend to tear my basil. Some people like to slice their basil. I think basil is so pretty and it smells so incredible. Now, it doesn't grow where I currently am unless it's in a greenhouse because there's not a long enough growing season. But this is something you will see all over. You will see it in Paris, you will see it in New York, you will see it in California, you will even England, you name it, you will see it. The Aussies will have to tell me whether or not it shows up in Australia. Again, you can't use too much, so enjoy. Now, on top of it, I use burrata, and burrata, and some of you who are much better cooks than me will tell me if it is actually a mozzarella or if it's an entirely different cheese, but it is much softer and kind of falls apart in a way that the mozzarella does not. It turns the dish almost creamy. Now, some people like to have a little bit firmer cheese that doesn't fall apart, in which case you can use your little, what's very fun to use is like the little cubes of mozzarella, and which is absolutely lovely. And on top of this, I'm going to get some of my dishes put away, just so that you can get an idea of what this looks like. On top of this, you are going to sprinkle some really good olive oil. And you can be as liberal as you want to be with your olive oil. And then I call this the God sauce, which is balsamic vinegar. And buy a good balsamic. There is a difference. I'm telling you, a huge difference. So, and some of it is smoother. Some of it is, how do I want to say, almost like a thick syrup. This one is actually kind of runny, but the taste is exquisite. So anyways, that is my recipe where I am taking something from Provence. I am bringing Provence back to wherever it is that you might live. Put a big spoon in this, and I'm telling you, your guests will be so happy. Thank you for joining.